On the show now is Nathan Ghareeb, who will be taking on Dan Dubuque next at CES 70 on September the 9th for the 145-pound title. Nathan, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm good. How exciting is that to hear? You got this title shot against a worthy opponent in Dan Dubuque. You
Yep.
must be thrilled.
Oh yeah, I'm super pumped about it. I feel like my time is finally here. I have a chance to kind of make myself known a little bit more. I think a title fight and to win a title fight will definitely put me on the map and put me on the radar for the UFC if I haven't done that already. So I mean, I'm super pumped about it. I'm ready to go.
I saw an interview that you did that was on your Instagram recently, discussing this upcoming matchup with Dan. And it sounds like you believe that you're going to be able to get the better of him, regardless of where the fight goes. You said you're going to be the first one to put him out and to finish him. When you look at his game, what stands out to you to make you believe that you feel so confidently about that you're going to be the first one to get him out of there?
It's his approach. And I certainly believe that he leaves himself exposed in a lot of engagements. He relies on his ability to pressure forward and get him into a firefight with guys. And from what I've seen, it seems like he somehow pulls these guys into a firefight. And the way that I fight in relation to his previous opponents, I believe I fight a lot meaner than he does and they do. I'm not one that's just going to stand in the pocket and throw, punches at you. I'm going to kick you. I'm going to knee you. I'm going to clinch you. I could take you down. I can grapple you. I think I'm very diverse and I'm very well rounded. I've spent a lot of time studying him. I've even cross-trained with him a little bit. And, I just believe that this is my time. I believe that I'm at a point in my career where, I'm ready for whoever they put in front of me, and it just happens to be him. So from what I've seen of him, I think he will give me opportunities to land damaging shots that, I don't think he's ever been hit with in fights. Guys aren't throwing at him. So I intend to throw, everything at him and see how he responds. And I'll just keep chipping away at him until he goes down. So
what would it mean for you to win such a prestigious title? Obviously, CES is one of the best regional promotions in the country, hands down. To win this belt and to have that wrapped around your waist, how special of a moment would that be to you?
It would be incredible. And I feel that because I had three opportunities as an amateur to fight for belts, and I came up short a couple of those times. Fights I could have won, I should have won. They were back and forth fights. And I fell short to guys that I don't believe I should have fell short to. So to be a professional now, to get my first chance at that, I believe that from those losses and from how far I've come in the last, 5 years, I'm a totally different person. I would beat the guy that I was, hands down. There's no question. So to have the opportunity to fight for a huge promotion like CES on Fight Pass and in front of my home, Massachusetts, it's only 30 minutes away from me. So it's going to be huge to have them wrap that belt around my waist, and I'm ready for it. All my hard work, all my time, all the things that I've done has led me to this moment, and I'm not going to let this pass me by. I'm going to do everything I can to win that belt. This is my time, so I'm pumped about it.
Do you expect to feel any more pressure, or for this fight just to be different for you mentally? Because as you said, you're going to be fighting, in front of a lot of people that at the MGM in Massachusetts. It's on Fight Pass. You're the main event, and it's for the title. I have to imagine it just adds more pressure to someone like yourself that's on the doorstep of getting to Contender Series or even the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly been a thing that a lot of people around me have talked about. People were like, "Oh, I'm coming to your fight. You feel like this is a big opportunity. It's a big opportunity." But at the end of the day, this is just another fight. The only thing that's changed is that there's 2 extra rounds if it makes it that far. And that's it. I am looking to go in there and do what I do every single day. Nothing changes. He's a series of targets. I have a series of weapons that I'm going to throw at him. I'm going to put as much damage on him as I possibly can. And that is it. There's no, I try not to dive into this, mindset of it's this big opportunity. This is my, it's like I said, it's my time. I know I did the work, but I'm not going to blow it up in my head. I know I have one goal, and it's to put a beating on him, an absolute beating on him, and do everything I can to finish him. And to win that belt. So I try not to, get outside of my focus. My focus is simple. There's a path is in front of me. He's in front of me. Everything else, like, I will enjoy it when it's over. You know what I mean? When it's over and it's all said and done, then I can, take it in and get all, wild and crazy. But until that point, the only thing that is on my mind is getting in there and hitting my targets and putting him down. So the pressure is just another day in the office for me. I love fighting. This is what I do. This is what I live for. I do it every single day. So this is just a fight for me, and that's what I'm going to do. Go in there and fight. So
in your heart of hearts, if you win this fight and you win it impressively, maybe let's say you do even get that finish, do you expect maybe Contender Series to be what's next for you? Or do you feel like maybe you're going to have to stick around and defend this belt once or maybe even twice before you get that call?
Honestly, like, my main focus, like I said, right now is to win the fight. But I think there'd still be like two or 3 weeks left of the Contender Series. But I wouldn't mind if the UFC called me up for a short notice fight. Somebody falls out, like, I'll step up, 145, 155. I don't care. If I have to defend the belt, then I'll defend the belt. Maybe I'll challenge someone for the 55-pound belt, my options are open. I want to stay active. I want to fight. I want to stay, as active as I possibly can. Just keep getting experience, just keep getting fights. But I mean, like I said, if the UFC calls and there's an opportunity, like, I'm not going to pass that up. I'm going to go in there and do what I got to do, because, like, there's a short window for this game. And, I just turned 29, and, I'm still healthy. I'm still active, and I feel good. So, whatever comes, and I'll take it for what it is, and I'll go out there and do my job as I always do. But yeah, I mean, if the UFC calls, like, there's no question I'll jump right on that.
Let's talk about what got you to the CES title fight opportunity. That was obviously at CES 69, a round one win over Javon Wright. How happy are you and your team with your performance?
Oh, we're very happy. For the most part, I didn't intend to go out there and grapple with him, but he made a mistake. I capitalized it, and I had the opportunity to prove that, you know, all of my previous losses have come from, grappling exchanges. I put a lot of time into that. The last 3-4 years have been like jiu-jitsu, wrestling, cage wrestling, all of that stuff. So to get back to my old wrestling roots and to, like, finally get in there and implement that. And, he didn't really, I think there was only one engagement where he, kind of went for a leg lock, and I scooted out the back, and then I just mauled him. So, I mean, we're really happy with that. Like I said, I proved everyone I'm not just a striker. Everybody seems to get this, like, impression that I'm just some, like a kickboxer, Muay Thai guy. But, I went out there and I out grappled him. I out wrestled him. I put him in bad positions and I beat him up on the ground. So, I mean, I'm happy with it, but I'm not satisfied. I want more. I want to, want to do more. I'm ready to, like I said, they offered this, like, a month after that fight, and it was like, okay, let's get back in there. So, I'm pumped about the win, but, we're right on to the next one, and we have a new focus, a new opponent, and another challenge ahead of us. So I'm stoked about it.
So the last fight was 2 months ago now. Have you had much of a summer? Have you done anything fun, or have you just stayed in the lab and kept working?
Oh, I mean, it's like always like a mix of that, like I'm always training, but I'll always find time to go and, go other places. Like, fortunately, because of, like, my style of training and, like, who I train with, I'm never really sticking around. I'm constantly going all over the place. So, like, the fact that I go out to Boston and train with, Lozon and his guys, gives me an avenue to go out to, like, New Hampshire to the beaches, or to, like, I just went up to Maine last weekend to see my original wrestling coach from high school and hung out with him for a couple days. I as much as I love being in the gym, like, I think it's always good for me to get out and to kind of do other things, eat good food, enjoy myself while I train. Like, I don't know if I take the same approach as many other fighters where it's like all gym, all eating healthy, all this stuff, like, I'm kind of like a wild man in that sense, like, I'm kind of like, I keep myself within the, the lines that I need to, as long as I can make weight and do all the things I need to do. But, all I live for training. So it's for me to get away is, like, the biggest thing sometimes, because I'm always like, people are like, you need to take a day off, or, hey, you need to maybe take a couple of days off. And I'm like, it's hard for me to stay out of the gym. So it's always good for me to get out and go some places and see some stuff. So.
What part of Maine were you at? Because that's where I'm from. I'm from the Bangor
Okay.
area.
Yeah, I'm from we went to Old Orchard.
Okay.
Uh
Yeah.
we grew up going there. It was it's a great place. On his sister owns a place up there. So he was like, "Hey, come on up for a couple days if it doesn't like intrude in your training." I was like, "Nah, like I could use a couple days to just relax, sit on the beach and just hang out for a little bit." So
I was
maybe
just in Old Orchard like 2 weeks ago. We could have been there at the same time.
yeah, I mean, do you go there often?
Well, I'm starting to go there a little bit more often now. I have an old friend I reconnected with that lives down there. And then my good buddy, I don't know if you know Nick Gully, but he was the NEF amateur heavyweight champion. He's one of my best friends, and they have a camp down in that area. So a couple of close friends down there. It gives me an excuse to kind of get away and go to Southern Maine.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've always loved it there. Like I said, I grew up. My parents used to bring us there every summer. Every summer we go there,
Awesome.
so it's always good to go back and kind of like have like old memories with my family when we go away for vacation. And that place will always have a special place in my heart. So
Absolutely. You mentioned earlier that you got to make sure that you stay within a certain range to make sure you can make weight. What's the weight at right now? We're still a couple weeks out. How close are you to 45?
oh, I'm actually the lightest I've been in a while, probably since my Bellator fight. I was 160.
Okay.
So usually I'm walking around 170, 175. Sometimes I'm up to 180, but right now I'm in a really good spot. And I'm hydrated, and I've been eating. I've been working with a nutritionist for my last camp, a guy that we used to coach. He got his nutrition stuff situated, and he's been helping me, and he keeps me like I said, within those lines, so we know how many calories I'm taking, how much protein I'm getting, and making sure I'm recovering and doing all the right things. So I'm not far away from the weight. Like, I'm in a much better spot. Even the last fight I was still hanging around 170 around this time. So to be 10 pounds lighter, there's not a whole lot of stress for that. So like, I wanted to be like I said, I want to be ready for this fight. There's no, I don't want to have any issues with weight. I don't want to be having to cut a ton of water out. Like, I'm not worried about anything other than making sure that I show up and I'm ready to go for the ninth.
What do you have left to do in camp? Are you one of those guys that does like a Shark Tank towards the end? Like, what's the plan for the next couple of weeks?
Um, just reviewing fundamentals. At this point, tonight I'll go and I'll spar one more time with a close friend of mine that I've been training with for a while. And I'll get some good grappling rounds in. But after that, generally around the 2-week period, we start to taper down the intensity, and we look for more volume and more fundamentals, just working our positions, whether it's on the ground or on the feet, and just doing footwork and the drills that are the most important. So making sure that I do all the right things, not just throwing strikes, but making sure that we're hitting the angles we need to handle, hit the angles we need to, move our feet appropriately, not break our base, and stay focused and stay on the task at hand. It's just, at this point, it's like, I've done the work, I'm in shape, I feel strong, I'm mentally, I feel the best I've ever felt. And so it's just, staying calculated, staying measured, and making sure that when we get in there, my body just does what it needs to do. Like, it will hit on it'll hit on its own, and I'll move exactly how I need to set them up and to put the beating on them that I intend to.
With this fight potentially being a 5-round fight, because it is a title fight here, have you put more of an emphasis on your cardio in this camp?
Not really. Really, I think it's more about efficiency than it is cardio. My mindset's always been where I find a lot of guys are like, well, we just go harder. Let's just go harder. Let's do the rounds harder. Let's hit the pads faster. Let's, do all these crazy workouts where they never really learn to uh like hone their efficiency with what they're doing. Like, everything's like 100%, and it's like, sometimes it's not about going 100%, but it's about making the reads and making, maybe moving a little bit less than moving extensive amounts. And so I mean, in terms of grappling purposes, yeah, I mean, I go a little bit harder during the grappling rounds, but with striking and sparring, I mean, I don't even really spar that much anymore. I spar here and there. Like, there's really no, I didn't really put too much of an emphasis on it. Like I know that, 5 rounds it seems like a long time, but I don't look at it as like, oh, I have to do 2 extra rounds. I look at it as I have 2 more rounds to work,
Right.
So if for whatever reason it goes all 5 rounds, I have I have 10 minutes extra that I can continue to focus and work. And it's just, managing that, like I know how to, I've been doing this long enough. I know how to manage myself. Like I know myself well. And I have great cardio, I have great cardio. I'm able to push like the training that I do is, it's intense enough when we're in camp or out of camp. So, nothing special. It's the same thing we do for any other fight. It's just another day in the office. Like I said.
All right. Well, September the 9th is CES 70. Again, you're facing Dan Dubuque for the vacant 145-pound title. And Dan's on a 3-fight skid. So you know he's going to be coming in there hungry, looking for a win. Definitely doesn't want to drop his 4th fight in a row. With that being said, especially considering since this is a title fight, do you feel like he's going to be coming forward, maybe looking for that home run shot? Is that something that you and your team have talked about as maybe like a game plan from him?
Yeah, I mean, I see him having a couple options with it where I would say he'd probably want to come out and start just being aggressive right off the bat, try to get in my face, try and get me tired, try and use his experience. And I mean, if that's what he wants to do, that's fine. We don't, like I said, we don't necessarily plan for a specific person. Like we make sure all our layers are situated properly so that depending on the style that he brings, like we have an answer for those things. So it's like, it's not too bad, like, oh, we're going to throw this strike or we're just going to take him down, as much as it's like, we know where we want to put him in the positions that we want to get him to. So if he comes out blitzing, that's perfect for us, and if he decides to run away, then I don't see him doing that. He's a pretty aggressive guy. He's got, one gear, it's straightforward. So, and that's what we train for, guys who fight on straight lines. So, you um, yeah, I hope that answered your question. Sorry.
Yep. No, for sure. For sure. Well, give me your official prediction. You said you're going to finish him. What round do you think it's going to be in? How do you do it? You're going to TKO him? You're going to sub him?
I'll probably TKO him. He's durable. He's going to have to take a lot of damage, but I think the 3rd round, I think after the 2nd round, he'll be pretty worn down. I think he'll start to feel it in the 2nd round. And in the 3rd round, I believe I'll TKO him. My mindset is it could either go to the ground or it could stay on the feet, but I do believe there will be quite a bit of close quarters fighting. And I believe that close quarters fighting is really going to put the damage on him. And I think he knows that too. So.
All right, man. I can't wait. I'll definitely be watching it on UFC Fight Pass, no doubt about it. Great talking to you again, Nathan. Before I do let you go, man, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your time. As always, I want to say thank you to my wife for all she's done, my family for all their support, my friends and my teammates, my training partners, the guys at Lozon's, the guys at Ascension, my coach Dan McIntyre, Alex Warren, my sponsors, Western Mass Hemp, Custom Gutters, Just Blazed. I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so grateful for all your help. Oh, and Alina's Restaurant. Yep. Alina's Restaurant as well. Martine, thank you for everything you guys do. And I'm looking forward to September 9th.